Oregon, Liberty, last game of the day. Just win. Just survive in advance. I of course want Oregon to win by 30. They're favored by 6.5. There's something about this game against Liberty that does concern me in a significant way. I do think Oregon will win the game. I've picked them to make the Sweet 16 in this year's bracket, where I think they'd lose to Duke, who's a really good team, and Cooper Flagg might be healthy at that point in time. But let's focus on Liberty, because that is all that talk. You got to get through this game first. And way crazier upsets have happened than Liberty winning this 12-5 game. So their head coach, Richie McKay, is in his second stint with the Flames and actually was once upon a time the head coach at Oregon State for a couple of seasons as well. But he's in his 10th year coaching. This is their fourth NCAA trip. One of those was COVID. They qualified in the 2018-19 season. 19-20, it was canceled, which sucks because we could have seen Peyton Pritchard and Sabrina Ionescu at their peak in the NCAA tournament. Man, that would have been good. But this is Liberty's first trip. They went in the 2020-21 season as well. This is their first trip going as a member of Conference USA. So McKay was a former associate coach at Virginia under Tony Bennett, who won a national championship a year after losing to a 16 seed. Just goes to show you, don't overreact to the moment, no matter how bad it feels. I bet you there were UVA fans all over the internet saying, Tony Bennett's got to be fired. This is unacceptable. Won a national championship the following year. How about that? Now, the thing about Liberty, their record is very impressive because they were a really good team in Conference USA this year. They have not played a quad one game this season. And that means Oregon's the best team they're going to play. When you go to the tournament challenge on ESPN, their notable results, their most notable win of the year, they went at Kansas State and won. Kansas State didn't have a great season, so that was not a quad one game. I believe that was quad two. But the rest of their games, it's against, McNeese's tournament team. They're a fellow 12 seed down in the Midwest region. They beat them, but then it's games against Middle Tennessee, Louisiana Tech, and they lost to Florida Atlantic. They beat Charleston, who's kind of a good low major team, but they have not played a lot of high-end competition this year. But for the teams that they have played, Liberty has scored the basketball. They have scored it a lot. 76.5 points per game. They make about 10.5 triples on average per contest at a 39% clip. That's what concerns me. That's what concerns me with this Liberty team is Oregon has actually been a good team this season defending the three, but when they aren't defending the three-point shot well, it gets ugly in a hurry. I think of that Illinois game when the Illini, who are a 6 seed down in the Midwest, I don't know whether to trust them, but I know what their ceiling is. They came to Matthew Knight Arena and hung 109 on the Ducks in regulation. They made, I don't even know how many threes in that game. I don't remember how. It was a lot. I think it was 16 triples. They started like 0 for 7, and then they went 16 for 21. It was insane. But Oregon this season statistically has been good defending the three. It's just that when they get off, they've gotten way, way off. And they do allow 7 made threes per game. That's a lot. At a 31.7% clip defensively for the Ducks, that's solid. It's not a great number, but it's solid. Anytime you can keep a team under making 1 out of every 3 triples they put up, you're doing pretty well. Now, this is a Liberty team that does not have a lot of size, and they're going to rely on the three-point shot. If you take that away, if you hold them under 10 made threes, I think Oregon has a good chance to win the game by 10 to 15 points. But this one certainly, I don't think, is one that the Ducks pull away early in this game. You think back to some, vintage Dana Altman runs. The second halves are where they have really separated themselves. So I'd suspect, whatever the first half point spread would be, I bet Liberty covers it. Wouldn't be shocked if Oregon's trailing at the break, and then they make some adjustments, come out, and their talent overwhelms them. But Oregon has the ability to get out to an early lead, keep it, and not let Liberty hang around. And it's with their size. So in the Conference USA championship game, Liberty was 12 of 20 from 3. 12 of 20. They do that against Oregon, Ducks might not be walking away with an NCAA tournament win. And that would be incredibly disappointing after winning a game last year. You'd like to see them win at least one this year. Winning 2 would be great. I'm trying to kind of speak that into existence by picking them to the Sweet 16. I'm super uneasy about it. But again, just focus on the Flames, survive and advance one game at a time. Now, contrast what Liberty does stylistically with their offense to what Oregon does, and they are complete and utter opposites. Oregon has made 10 or more threes in just 5 games this year. They're 4-1 in those games, by the way. So hit 10 threes, you're probably winning the game. Liberty, on the other hand, I know it's not against as high a level of competition, but mid-major hoops, we have seen them make precipitous rises over the last couple of years and get better results in the last few tournaments. They made 10 or more threes in 21 games this year. That's a lot. They played 34. Oregon's played 33. Five games for Oregon where they've made 10 or more threes, 21 for Liberty. These are contrasting styles. So, a couple players to be aware of is Talon Peter, 14 points a game, shoots it at a 46% clip from 3. Nobody on Oregon sniffing that this year. Caden Metheny, 13.5 point a game scorer, 39% from 3. I'm just saying, if either one of those guys went in the portal, maybe Oregon should pick them up. Find a knockdown shooter to add to that. You can never have too much shooting. It is not something that you can have too much of. But I think the biggest matchup in this game is going to be Nate Bittle, who I will talk more about on tomorrow's show. One of you sent me in a great mailbag question about him. But Nate Bittle, the 7-footer who's a finalist for the Wooden Award, given to the best big man in the country. Pretty sure it's the Wooden Award. I don't know. He's up for one of those. I lose track of all the award names and whatnot. But Bittle is 7 feet tall. And we know how skilled he is. 3-level scorer. 36 points in the regular season finale at Washington. Dude can fill it up. And did so against the Big Ten, which has somewhere between 8 to 10 teams in the conference in the NCAA tournament this year. He is likely to be going up against Zach Cleveland, who is their leading scoring presence down low and their leading rebounder and their second leading shot blocker. Zach Cleveland is 6'7". Liberty does not have a player who regularly plays. They have a redshirt freshman that has barely played this year who's 7 feet tall. They don't have guys that are over 6'9". So you're going to have some undersized bigs it'll have to be a really good coaching job from Richie McKay to overcome that disadvantage. Because if Nate Bittle is just too tall and can score inside at will and hit a couple of threes, he might look up and have 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 block shots. And if he does, Oregon's probably winning the basketball game. So that's the biggest matchup, I think, to watch here against the Flames is how do they defend Bittle? Do they force the pass out? If I'm Richie McKay, formulating a defensive game plan, I am saying we're doubling Bittle anytime he gets the ball in the post, and we're going to leave TJ Bamba open for 3 and give him that shot. Now, the counter should be for Bamba to catch the ball and drive or cut before he catches a pass from Bittle coming out of the post. But, you know, those sorts of X's and O's, coaches are going to go back and forth with that all throughout the game. But if they are not able to contain Nate Bittle, I don't know how they hold Oregon under 75 points. I don't know how they hold Oregon under 80 points, quite frankly, because when Bittle gets going, Ducks have got plenty of scores. Angel's been playing better. Evans has gotten his scoring going off the bench. We know what Shellstad can do. Bamba's been good with his shot selection. I feel solid about Oregon going into this game. Liberty's got to go all the way across the country. Oregon's just got to make a quick trip up to Seattle. They're playing at Climate Pledge Arena, which is not where they just played the Huskies game. But Oregon should have the crowd advantage. Oregon's got the travel advantage, size advantage, talent advantage. They should win the game. And everything that should happen in March Madness always happens, so you don't need to worry. Yeah, I'll be stress tweeting all game long. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.